Up everybody. The worst part about making videos is honestly just having turn off my music that I'm listening to while I'm trading. Back camera is working. Yes. You can see I've been trading today. I posted my P&Ls in the Discord channel. You can see them here up on my screen. I can actually show you some more if I scroll up like that, right? So I'm just trying to hide my account numbers and some of my accounts. But let's just jump into why I took the trades that I took this morning. I mean, the big trade was, let's go main screen. Well, there are a couple big trades. So the big trade really is this account right here. This account I've been grinding for a little bit. I've had 3 days of doing 800 bucks profit. And today I just did 1,000. So a little bit more than I wanted to. Honestly, my chart somehow came out of sync for my DOM and I couldn't place my stops on the chart. And so I was just manually closing it. And so it won literally $200 more than I wanted it to, which kind of like shows you how fast NQ can move sometimes. I mean, we're just on a ripper today, but I mean, here's kind of my thoughts. Let's see if that's the wrong chart. Let's fix that really quick. Sometimes it does this where it loads my ES chart instead. Save and reload. And I have to like reload the screen over there, and then I have to go into OBS and then like retell it what screens to look at. So, all right, perfect. So you can ignore the bottom indicator. This is just me playing around with different ideas. You'll always see weird indicators on my screen. It doesn't mean I'm actually using them. I'm just trying to kind of see how they look, or, you know, just messing with trying to always learn and find new stuff. But long story short, coming into the market today, you can see that we had this massive sell-off overnight, right? Especially during London. But even during Asian session, you can see at 8 p.m., we start to sell off, and we just never stop selling off all the way till we get down to S1. We form a nice support level, and we just start ripping. This is about 7, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Going into market open, we just end up going, and we're probably going to go all the way to R1. We ripped through weekly VWAP, which shows that we're probably really bullish, and this previous level of support right here, we ripped through. So this was like the key level, right? If we rip through that, there's a good chance that we're going to continue, probably going to at least go up and touch R1. We might only definitely come back and retest Asian high. But on a 5-minute chart, this is where things get interesting. So I know I've showed this in another video, right? But I'm marking Asian session, right? High, low, 50% mark. And I'm doing the same thing for London, high, low, 50% mark, all the way up to the point of open, right? And notice that I have the 8 moving average. So I like to, you know, if I'm taking a trade off near the 8 moving average in a bullish direction, I'm not going to put my stop very much lower than the 8 moving average, right? And so when we get some nice sideways action, this would have been a great entry if I was up at 9 a.m. I honestly, at the bottom of, we're at that 50% level of the London session, right? And if we start to get a close above it, and we are touching that 8 moving average, I probably would have looked for an entry here and then targeted the high of London right there, and probably have been out before market even opened. But you know, that's not when I woke up today. I got to my computer a little bit late. But you know, I basically did take a trade, not off this long signal here that you see, which is also me messing around with the QICE settings. That is a QICE play right there. If I turn off all these, you can see that's QICE play. And let me minimize this so everything lines up correctly. But what I'm looking for here, you can see this is Asian sessions in blue and teal, right? And London sessions in orange and yellow. And so the low of London's all the way down here. So one of the things that I just like to do a lot of times is if I'm taking a long, right? I typically want to target the top of Asia session or a London session or whatever, right? So like long story short, if we're closing above this 50% mark right here, and I was to take a long, I want to be targeting going from this 50% fib level of the Asian session, and I want to be targeting the Asian high right here, right? And you can see how that would have played out. The same kind of concept would go for this entry though, right here, where we're going into the Asia range, but we have this London range right here too. If I could get an entry close to this 8 moving average, right? And thinking that we're going to continue bullish, I'd be targeting going from Asia low all the way to 50% level of Asia. Now this was only like 40 points. And it depends on if you're trading two contracts. A lot of times I'm exiting these early, but I'm looking at these zones as high places of potential resistance as well. And so you can kind of see this 484 level, right? This 483 level, right? If we drop down to like a 1 minute, right? This 483 level is this level right here, right? I'll put a little Alt H. I'll put a little Alt H on it. 483-ish level. So you can see like where we come up, we wick it even, right? So we came up, we wicked it, and came back down. It also lined up with second or deviation, VWAP deviation. But you can see how much chop we kind of got off this level here, right? And so once we started to kind of close above it and it became support, that's very, very bullish for it to try to push to that next zone. Now, these are just ideas that I have that I see they tend to work. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is that on a bigger picture, I think on a 15-minute chart, I still think that we're going to push all the way to that R1. And so very bullish on the day. These are just key places of resistance that I'm constantly looking at. And the other one, the top of Asia session, right, would have been 523. So if we go to like 523 would have been, this is roughly the top of Asia session right there. And so you can kind of see how that plays, we started to kind of chop sideways at the top of Asia and then kind of came down. So this is just kind of something that I'm used to seeing now. And I'm playing around with it. And I'm playing around with a lot of different ideas. Again, don't pay attention to the indicators on the screen, just because I have them on my screen doesn't mean I'm 100% using them right now. I'm playing around with some different ideas. This is there's some pink line. There's a pink line here now, and this pink line is an interesting one because it's not an EMA, and you can see how it hugs price. Is very different, and then I have a step red line as well in there, right there, that hugs closer than the 9 does, and it's kind of it's very steppy. I'm not sure if I like it yet or not, and the idea behind it is for quick scalps, right? So if we start to close above it, right, I can enter a long, and then I'm looking to take it only to when we start to dip outside of that step, right? Getting out. That's for very quick scalping, and you can kind of see too, like right here, where after we push up and we come back under it, right, and get out, right? I would stay out of all this, right? And again, there's other concepts I'm using. I'm not just flipping my position going short just because I see that, right? This is very, very bullish. And so I'm kind of using that. You can use that to scalp. So this is how I passed some evals today too. But anyways, it's not 100% yet. I'm working on different ideas, different concepts, different things to help people visualize trading. And so, and then working these into hopefully something that will release with QuantView, right? Because what I want to do is help people stay out of chop, right? That's one of the things. And so like in this zone here, right? Is there a combination of indicators that I can use to then signal to stay out of chop, right? And so that's kind of more or less what I'm testing. And then what I want to do is I want to make it like a really easy background color for people. So it's literally going to be like, you should be looking for shorts. It's red background. You should be looking for longs. Or only looking for longs. It's a green background. And when it's chop and you shouldn't be looking for any trades, it's just blank, right? The background's blank. That way it's like at a visual, you can just glance at your chart. You're like, I shouldn't take a trade, or I should take a trade, right? And so that's actually the same thing why I'm playing with the stuff on the 15 minutes as well. But yeah, so, but you know, honestly, here's the thing. At the end of the day, I love the 5-minute chart. 5-minute chart is still one of my favorite charts to trade on, right? There's a with the smart money concepts, I think this one's not fully loading right now. Sometimes if it doesn't fully load, you can just copy and paste it, and then delete the old one and it will work. Hey, there could be an update and I might not have updated it though. There we go. But with smart money concept on the 5-minute, man, the 5-minute is by far my favorite chart. If I had to trade on one chart alone, it would probably be the 5-minute. Just because it's easy to see the bigger moves, it's easier to see when the market flips, it's easy to see smart money concepts when we have an order block like that one right here, this order block. Look how beautiful that order block played there. Look how beautiful that order block played off today, right? Now, the other thing I would put on it would be like, pivots. Pivots are very, very important. And so, knowing that this is a pivot level down here, that this is consolidation, that we have two different versions of an order block here, right? So we have this order block and we have this order block. And one's from the freebie that you get when you join the QuantView community. And then the other one is the Smart Money Concepts by QuantView. And I also like seeing the break of structures and change of character, right? This change of character is a big deal right here, right? Where we take out these highs, but being able to kind of see it, it makes it really, really easy. Same thing with the change of character right here. Once we break that, we're forming bullish order blocks as we break up, right? And then also keeping the overnight sessions levels on the screen. I mean, watch how this plays out right here, right? This is the top of, what is this? This is the top of Asia session right here, right? This blue line. And it might not play out, might not be a support level here, might come all the way back down to this moving average. The thing is that I do think that we'll probably continue going higher today. We probably will go higher here. I think we all go all the way to touch R1. So we're probably going to go all the way to touch R1. That would be my guess here. I'm going to be very careful though. Just because we're going somewhere doesn't mean we can't have pullbacks along the way. And I like to use the 50 moving average on a 1-minute chart to kind of have that pullback level. Like if we go past that 50 moving average on a 1-minute, that's where you have to be really, really careful, because after it flips over that 50 moving average, we can just tank sometimes really, really fast. You could see right there how that 8 moving average kind of just became a little support there. You saw the bounce, right? You're seeing now the top of Asia session being like a little bit of a resistance right now as well. And so this is the mess around and find out zone right here, where it's like if we start going lower and we break below that, that's no bueno. That's not that's going to be a little bit bigger of a move. But if we close above this level, on a 5-minute, then we'll probably continue pushing. You know, you just have to like play the market. You have to be very careful here too. We're kind of in this zone where, you know, we're coming into the afternoon session, or the end of London, really. You know, it's 10:25. I do think that we still have a lot more momentum to move here as well. But we are also, if you're just like following like a trend line, right, from this morning, we're kind of, oh, let's get this trend line like this. Here, I'll show y'all how I did this trend line. Just because I don't count like the first couple minutes of market open a lot of times when you're doing like a trend line on a 2-minute chart. You can kind of ignore the first couple minutes. I try to ignore the first like 5 minutes. And then you want to draw your trend line. I'll show you kind of why that is. These are just my thoughts on the day. Yeah, so ignore these, right? Because that's the first 5 minutes. You get a nasty wicks. This is on a 2-minute. You can see we have this nice like little channel going. But you can also see the same channel. If we draw like a line from like here to here, you can kind of see that same channel like that on the top side. And us trading inside of it. So I'm just drawing off these wicks down here. But we've broken the channel to the upside, then we broke it to the downside. So this is where we got to be careful. And we just came down. Remember when I said if we go past that 50 moving average, look at what we just bounced off of. This is the 50 moving average on the 1-minute chart. This is the level that I don't want to see broken here, right? If we break below that 50 moving average, you don't want to be long anymore, right? If we break a lot of times, not all the time, this is like not 100% of the time, but a lot of times, if we break this 50 moving average, right, and we close below it on the 1-minute, we're coming back down to the whatever the next point of resistance was, which in this case is probably going to be VWAP, maybe 50% of the Asian session, or we had a little bit of support at like that 83 level, so maybe this level right here. But this is where you have to be really careful. And you can kind of see how the step would have kept you out of this, right? Like once it flipped, or if you wanted to try to short this, right, you'd short it until we closed above that little step. Yeah, see, here we go. Watch it. Watch us go. We're at least going to, if this 1-minute candle closes below the 50 moving average, we'll come down to this level here. And let's see. Oh yeah, we'll see. If we cut, it will at least come down to this level, but most likely we'll come all the way down to VWAP, I think, in this scenario. The only thing that's there that has actual potential support right below it too is the QQQ VWAP, which is right about this level right here. So there's a lot of weird technical support right in this level here, right? But typically I don't, if we close below the 50, I would be out. I would like to see it push now if it was going to push. There we go. Let's see if it closes. What you really kind of can pay attention to is the last 10 seconds of the candle here. Yeah, see, we're just forming new lows. Last 10 seconds is the most important, because if we start to push up and close above the 15 last 10 seconds, then the next candle is probably going to be bullish. But if we don't, and it continues down, then it's just going to tank. See, last 10 seconds, it's just not, it's going close, and then it tanks. You see that? What did I call? What did I call? So I mean, I don't know, man. It comes from like watching a lot of a lot of this. Let's say that's that 83 level, 83-ish level, right? Where we could find that potential support, which is that overnight level. That was also, that overnight level was also the pivot point on QQQ, by the way. And so literally like right in the zone here was literally the QQQ pivot. We just wicked off of it. And I don't think I have that saved on my chart. So what I can do here is I can just show you guys like this. Hold on. Oh wait, maybe I can't. Yeah, I can show you guys like this. Here we go. Main screen. Yeah. So up here, so you can see the QQQ, the main pivot right here. That's what we just bounced off of. Which was also kind of lined up with that same, kind of support level on the Asian session, which is this wick right here, or this line right here. So you can kind of see how that worked out. And you can also see how, once we close under that 50 mark after those 10 seconds, and I said that if it closes under that this was like pushing down for those last 10 seconds, will move really, really fast. This is a perfect example of that. Like you can see that happen in real time, which is really cool. Because again, things, you can see patterns, right? You can see things that happen, but a lot of times things don't happen all the time, right? And so, when you're able to kind of catch something that happens in real time, oh no, let me fix this. So when you can catch something that happens in real time like that, and show people, that's, I think, invaluable. Because it works. It's something that I've noticed, this is something that, like, when you start to get into, like, there's other little tricks that you can use too at certain levels, and looking at how many seconds are left in the candle and seeing what that candle is doing within those few seconds to kind of determine what's going to happen that next candle. Again, it's not 100% all the time, but it happens enough where it's like, I've noticed patterns, right? I wish I had more data on stuff like that, right? On the last 10 seconds of a candle that's holding on an EMA, holding on a support level. If it starts to push down, like how fast that next candle will move. Like there's stuff that, like, I just don't have data on. I just know that it happens. I'm sure that maybe one day I'll be able to collect all the data and get everything that's in my mind, like, out, an actual, like, actually seeing the data for it would be really cool. But yeah, anyways, I think I'm going to end the video there. That was a nice little push down past that 50 moving average, bounced on a QQQ pivot, came down to roughly that that Asia session midline right there, and bounced off of it. And we'll see what happens here. We could continue pushing down and go all the way to that, all the way down to VWAP. We could push and close and start to make new highs. Now it's like, what I would want to see in order for me to jump in along here would be, I want to see it push above that 50 moving average, and close above that 50 moving average and the 9 moving average, because those are both, like, really close together. And then if I was to jump in along, I'd be very careful wanting to see it close above the 21 moving average as well. And if it starts to reject off the 21 moving average, I would get out. The other thing that I'd be looking for is this level right here, as a potential resistance. So we could come up to this level right here and then reject off of that, on the footprint chart. This is where things are getting a little bit more complicated. I would, you just kind of have to be careful, and know how an NQ moves here. don't formulate your biases just because we wicked off of a pivot, right? Now, if you had to buy, if you got your buy on that pivot, on that dip, on that wick, that would have been awesome. I would literally set it break even and just let it go. Because if you're wrong, it's going to stop you out because it's going to go all the way down to VWAP. And if you're right, then, you know, you have a really nice entry. But anyways, that's it for this video. Make sure you like, subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. And maybe I might make more videos like this where it's just like me kind of more or less trading with y'all or breaking down my trades, and then also like reviewing the market live as I see it. And maybe I might do some live streams like this in the future if you guys like this type of content. Make sure you guys like, subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already, and see you guys in the next video.